All right, so today let's talk about motivation. I've been wondering to myself, how do I stay motivated? Because I've not been feeling too motivated lately. And I thought, well, I don't really know. I can kind of think about it a little bit, what motivates me. But the truth is, I don't actually know. I have to think a little bit more about what motivates me. And let's look together. I figure that could be fun. Let's look together. How do you stay motivated, right? How do you stay motivated? So here we go. Let's start with start a conversation here with our favorite AI, chatbot. So, all right, waiting patiently. How do you stay motivated? Let's see. How to stay motivated. All right, here we go. Ready? This is what the chatbot says. Okay. Staying motivated involves a combination of goal setting, self-awareness, and practical strategies. Key approaches include set SMART goals. That's fair. Create goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Clear objectives, like read one book per month, save $200 weekly, provide direction, and make progress trackable. All right. So you got to set SMART goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Okay, I got to think about that a little bit more. I got to really think about that. Like, what goals do I have that are both relevant and achievable? Feels like the really important ones are like the relevant ones may not be the most achievable at the moment. Oh, it's brutal. Oh, it's so brutal. Oh, man. I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels like that right now. How do we fix this? How's this gonna work? Oh boy. Specific and measurable. I can handle that, but achievable and relevant is maybe where it gets a little bit difficult. But it seems that motivation is related to goals. You gotta have goals that are smart. SMART goals. Okay. And time bound. So there's some kind of time related thing. Time limit, some kind of objective. It's got a time associated with it. Maybe some a periodic thing or a one-time thing. Do it by the end of the month, or do it each week. Okay, so goals. Goal setting seems to be important to staying motivated. All right, fair enough. Clear objectives. Read one book per month. Save $200 weekly. Provide direction. Make progress trackable. All right, I guess I should think about that a little bit more. But there's all kinds of things I'd like to do, but I can't actually do any of those things. Like a lot of those things, I can't do them. It's not going to happen. Not any reason. Like I have so many other things that need to happen before I can do those things, and those things that need to happen are going to be, I don't know. Who knows if I can even do them. Okay. Break goals into smaller steps. Divide large tasks into manageable chunks to reduce overwhelm. Completing small milestones builds confidence and maintains momentum. For example, writing a book can start with outlining chapters or writing daily pages. Okay, divide large tasks into manageable chunks to reduce overwhelm. All right. Completing small milestones builds confidence and maintains momentum. For example, writing a book can start with outlining chapters or writing daily pages. Okay, so that's probably a good idea. So I should try to come up with SMART goals SMART goals. Fair enough. And break those goals into smaller steps so I don't feel overwhelmed. Okay. I'm starting to see a little bit of a theme here. Feeling a little overwhelmed. I was putting it lightly. Oh my gosh. Oh, the things I'm dealing with in my life right now are like, oh my God. Oh no. Overwhelming is putting it lightly. Oh. Yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail about it. Yeah, it's overwhelming is the right. Probably, yeah, I would say, feeling a bit overwhelmed and feeling like, I guess, despairing or what have you, whatever the word is for that, definitely affects your motivation. That might be the issue I'm having here, and might just be that, like, yeah, the tasks that are being placed in front of me are just like, oh my God. Very, 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 very difficult. Very, very challenging. Maybe that's what's going on. I mean, yeah, some of these things are like, you can't. Some things you physically can't do. Like, you can't. There's only so much you can do. So, yeah, that might be fair. So, being overwhelmed can be very demotivating. Maybe that's fair. Maybe that's what's going on here. That's fair. I like the chatbots a lot, man. They're so helpful. They're so helpful when I'm getting like really just overwhelmed and flustered and whatever. What the right word is, just totally. Yeah, I have a lot of extremely difficult things to deal with in my life. Just really, really, really difficult. And very uncomfortable, very painful. I've said that before. I made videos before about this, but like, it's just really tough. And I didn't get a lot of guidance. I think that was one of the things that made it really hard, is I didn't get a lot of guidance when I needed it. Like I mentioned in another video about, like, I needed to fix one thing, and so I went and like kind of picked up a career path thinking that would be a good idea to address the first thing, but then that career path ended up being kind of a monstrosity. And so now I have two things I need to fix. It's like, oh, why didn't somebody just tell me? There are all kinds of like horrific things here and there that's like equivalent to like stubbing your toe, but like some people, they step on nails and they get nails through their feet, and that's very painful and uncomfortable, and they got to go through to the hospital and they can't work, and I can get all these kinds of situations where it's just like, it's just a little bit of guidance, just a little bit of like, no, don't step there, don't go that way. It's not, this isn't for you. For you, you've got these specific circumstances. These things are probably what you're going to want to look at, not this other stuff that you're messing around with. You might become a little overwhelmed if you're not careful. Yeah, a little bit of guidance. So yeah, the chatbot saying, hey, you might be feeling reading between the lines a little bit here. Might be feeling a bit overwhelmed, which may affect your motivation. And I would say accurate. I do feel a little overwhelmed. There are some things in life for me that have been very challenging and a little overwhelming. And not my fault, a lot of it too, unfortunately. Some of it, like, if I had just known a little bit, a little more, knowledge of what was going on, what I was going to have to deal with, I could have like kind of made preparations. I could have done things differently. Could have approached things differently. Excuse me, but not too much guidance in terms of like what I could actually do that will help improve my situation. All these things that are not actually going to help. ultimately, which is kind of tragic, kind of sad. I don't know what to say about all that, but that's, yeah. I would say feeling overwhelmed. Feelings of being overwhelmed is definitely not very motivating. Hard to stay motivated when you feel overwhelmed. That's a fair point. Okay, so break goals into smaller steps. All right, divide large tasks into manageable chunks to reduce overwhelm. So maybe that's what I should be doing, because I've got these enormous. I mean, there's like these really big things that are hard, but there are things that like I need to do that are some of them kind of big, some kind of on the smaller side, but like if I don't do them, I'm gonna have serious problems. And there are already things that are happening that are like they're gonna be serious problems down the road, pretty soon. And it's not a lot. It's like kind of watching a slow motion train crash, where it's like that's not gonna be good. Yeah, and I tried so hard to prepare for some of this stuff. Every one of my moves just have been thwarted one way or another, which is brutal. I mean, it's so brutal. It's like imagine trying to get out of the way of a slow moving train and you just can't. Everything you do, you move this way, you trip. You move that way, some rope is just there. It snags you, pulls you back, and oh, that's horrible. Yeah, that's a nightmare. That's a nightmare. That's horrific. That's kind of how it feels at times. The sort of things that I've been dealing with. It's just like I can't do it, man. I've tried so hard for so long, and it just doesn't work. Nothing works. It's all just painful. So very painful. Yeah, I can't help but laugh. Can't help but laugh, man. I've said this many times in the past. So you don't laugh, you'll cry. You don't laugh, you'll cry. Oh, yeah, brutal. Anyway, so large tasks into manageable chunks to reduce overwhelm. All right, that's probably fair. Like I feel overwhelmed. I do. I do. It's too much. It's not even that it's too much work. It's that it's I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. Don't have time to do all the things that I would like to do. Like everything's so tight. Everything's so just uncomfortably tight. Overwhelmingly tight and difficult and just uncomfortable. Frustrating. It's hard to just take it easy. It's like, no, I can't. Got all this pressure. Yeah. Overwhelming pressure. It's not fun. It's not fun to have to deal with. And like I said, a lot of it's not my fault. I mean, I kind of, I don't know. I mean, it's so okay. So when you're struggling with motivation, it seems part of the reason probably is that the things that you need to do are probably just overwhelming. And so strategies and steps to reduce the overwhelming difficulties that you're dealing with is to set SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Okay. So the issue I'm having here is achievable and relevant. A lot of the things that are relevant, very relevant, are in some cases not legally achievable in my position, which is like, why? Just painfully overregulated. That's sort of what I'm dealing with. I'll probably make a video about this. Like I kind of did a little bit of studying about like how long is the government going to continue? Like how, and not just this administration, but just the government broadly, because there's way too much regulation. It makes things that are relevant unachievable, because they just tell you, hey, you're not allowed to do that. Period. Like, full stop. Full stop. And I can't tell you how many times in my life, like we're going back like 5 years ago. I just wanted to drive a box truck. I was like, hey, I don't want to starve. Let me go get a job. Hey, what job can I get? Like, oh, there are some people over there. They want you to deliver these things to that spot. So they're over there. They have some stuff they want you to deliver over there, over another spot. Why don't you go and go and say, hey, I'll do that for you and you can pay me, and then I don't starve, right? I'll take your box truck and I'll take your things, put the things in the box truck, drive that box truck somewhere else, take the things out of the box truck, put it in wherever you want, and then I'll make a small sum of money. I'll come back, bring your box truck back. Don't get into any accidents along the way. Drive the speed limit. Be very mindful of the people around me. Conscientious. And I won't starve. And that'll be great. That'll be great. And I was told, hey, we can't let you do that. It's not legal. Why isn't it legal? The reason it's not legal, it's not because you don't know how to drive. It's not because you don't have a driver's license. It's not even because you don't have insurance. You did all that. It's not because you haven't paid your decals. It's not because you haven't paid your registration. It's none of that. Got your decals, got your registration, you got paid your taxes, you got your license, you got your insurance, you got your cards, you did all the things. No, that's not why. Have a clean driving record. The reason you can't do this to avoid starving, simply put, is because you don't have commercial insurance. I got commercial insurance for your truck. And they have, the company that wanted to hire me, they have commercial insurance. But they have private commercial insurance, which is a small insurance company. And they said, we don't want to take on a stranger that we don't know very well, even though you got all your bells and whistles. Minding your P's and Q's. Because you don't have enough experience driving a box truck or whatever, for trucking generally, and because we have a private insurance company that's small, we can't take you on. So you need to either go find some other job and do 2 or 3 years of trucking under a larger insurance company or something, and then come back. And I thought to myself, I'm going to starve in 2 to 3 years. I will be gone. I will no longer be here. I'm not going to be around because I need the money to eat now. I need it now. That's why I'm talking to you about a job, so I can eat. And I was like, okay, so I can't legally do this. So not relevant, but not legally achievable. I think that is fair to say. That could be a little overwhelming. If it's like, okay, well, maybe there's other things you could do so you don't starve. And as it turns out, there are. But there aren't that many. And by the way, as things progress, as you get closer and closer to starving, things kind of start to fall apart. You don't realize all these other things that are going on that trip you up and cause more issues for you legally, which I don't want to get into too much detail, but let's just say a lot of various different forms of employment are contingent on other conditions, and if you don't satisfy all those conditions, then you begin to not be eligible for those things, which there were things that in the past I would have been eligible for, but now it's less clear whether or not I will actually even be eligible anymore, which is a tragedy and deeply upsetting. And I don't want to go into too much detail about that, but that's of course, as things get more and more overwhelming and difficult. So that was like 5 years ago too. I was like, what can I do that's relevant and achievable? It's like, well, not that. Not that. That won't be achievable because it'll take you 2 to 3 years to get the experience, so that way the private insurance company will cover you, so that way you can drive a box truck to make minimum wage so you don't starve. So yeah, deeply, and obviously it's like, well, you could go maybe change the laws, maybe make things a little easier for young people, so when they fall on hard times, they're not, they can actually make relevant and achievable goals. And it's like, well, that in itself is not, it's a relevant goal to make things a little easier for young people when things get difficult. But that is also not an achievable goal because no one cares. Unless really it's the previous generation. So not my generation, but people that came before me. They're not having these problems. They don't care. They're just like, no, we made these rules. We have these rules. They're great. A lot of people don't follow them anyway. But you, being a law-abiding citizen, you're going to be just barred from doing achievable, relevant things for your life, and have fun with that. And you will be outcompeted by criminals because they don't follow the laws full stop. Like that's like the housing market, for example. Like they say, oh, it's starting to come, fall down a little bit. Like prices are starting for like. Which, by the way, in the United States, it's like real estate has just always been climbing. It's just constant climb, forever, indefinitely, in terms of value, which again has its own reason. There's all reasons for that. But it's like, there's this gigantic housing crash in 2008, which basically was due to fraud, which no one really figured that out or nailed it down. Like the public was just bamboozled. Like everything in media was just flooded with garbage. Social media, mainstream media, entertainment, etc. Everywhere that it was ever referenced, it was just like, no one has any idea why this happened. And the reason's really simple. They gave a lot of people that couldn't afford homes, they gave them loans to buy homes, and this drove up all the prices. And then, eventually, it came out. And this happened way before 2008. Eventually, everyone realized, hey, these people can't actually afford these homes. And then they left the homes, and they got evicted, and no one was there. And then all of a sudden, all these homes came back out on the market, effectively. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's more like the banks lost a lot of money. That's probably more accurate. That the banks basically gave out a lot of loans that never got paid back. And the cost associated with that basically was pushed onto the general economy, right? Like, because the banks aren't responsible for their own money. Come on. That's not how that works. Come on. I think they got a big bailout or something from the government. But that means that you're paying for it, right? Like that's like basically the whole country had to pay a lot of money for a very large number of people that could not actually afford homes, and all that loan money was lost. So that took a pretty big hit onto the economy generally, broadly, but also landed a pretty big hit on the economy generally, but also the housing prices, they were really high, and then they crashed really hard and came back to normal. And what I realized in my analysis and my paying attention to what's going on and listening and all that stuff, dawned on me that, hey, the root of this problem was obfuscated. Nobody ever addressed this. No one figured this out. The housing market is in a permanent state of instability because nobody's ever going to fix this. Like, no one has ever fully assessed the root cause, and because lots of people figured it out, but also brought about the political change and political will to address those underlying root causes of why the housing market is this unstable mess. And tragically, in my life, while I managed to assess the housing market as unstable correctly, the job market is also unstable, at least the one that I entered, which I had no idea. Which I couldn't even fathom that, I probably should have known better that, if the housing market could be unstable, your entire country's unstable, okay? You're talking about people's homes. You don't even have a place to live. Forget it. Your whole country is an unstable mess. But anyway, so basically the country's been in a steady state of just destabilizing. And the housing market's not stable, the job market's not stable, there's nothing stable about this country, quite frankly. I don't know, putting it in such explicit terms is a bit rough, but yeah, that's definitely, it's more or less true. But yeah, the root cause of giving people loans that can't afford the houses. So today it's even worse, I think, than the housing crisis we had, because you've got illegal immigrants coming in. They're not even citizens, and they go and they get cars on loans, they get houses on loans, they do all kinds of stuff. They get themselves into $500,000 of debt, and all the houses and stuff, all the prices go way through the roof. Everything goes through the roof because they're buying it. And they don't care what the price is because they're not paying it back, basically. They're not even legal citizens. They're not even supposed to be in the country. And we're talking people they just came right in. They just off the boat, came in. We're gonna buy a house? Sure. Get a job? Sure. Get a car? Sure. And when you look at these people, you're wow, they seem to be doing really well. Look at these people. Look what they're doing. It's oh, no, they're kind of just cheating the whole way through. And eventually they're not going to pay it back, and eventually the exact same thing is going to happen, where all the housing prices are going to just collapse. And you're going to have the same kind of whole economy getting rocked, same, almost exactly the same thing that happened in 2008. I recognize this, and I did not want to pay very much for a home because I was I have to be able to pay for it. I don't, this is an unstable country. I can't actually do this. And that's rough. So achievable, buying a home, I don't know, relevant, but not very achievable. Can you break it up into manageable chunks? Well, not really, right? Because that's what the 30-year mortgage is supposed to be. But you can't really do that, right? Because it's still too much. I don't, I can't even drive a box truck for minimum wage, right? It's not legal. There's all kinds of regulations that make it illegal to do that. Ineligible for just really basic, just feed yourself somehow. Yeah, overwhelming, I would say. Overwhelming. So, yes, fair. So, setting SMART goals, this has been probably the difficulty for me. Achievable and relevant. So, that might be why I'm feeling not very motivated, is that a lot of the things that I would have liked to have done that are relevant are not achievable. They're just not. They probably should be, but they're not. And that's a little tough, huh? That's a little tough. Okay. And time bound, that's not too hard to throw a time bound in there. Okay. So that's good. So there we go. That might be part of why I'm struggling with motivation, is that it's challenging for me to find goals that are relevant and achievable. And over time, this has slowly worn on my sense of motivation. Yeah, and I'm sure I'm not the only person feeling like this. I'm sure there are lots of people who are feeling similar kind of a way. Right, so large tasks into manageable chunks to reduce overwhelm. Completing small milestones builds confidence and maintains momentum. So I need to find things that are achievable and relevant, and hopefully small things, and then I can do those things, and it will build confidence and end momentum. So I think that's how I'm going to have to find a way to stay motivated. Now, again, some of the things that I've been trying to do that are small milestones that build confidence and maintain momentum are actually not as achievable as I thought. So that might be fair. That might be why, like I said before, like I was like, hey, I thought maybe I could just like drive a box truck. I know how to drive. I've driven box trucks before. Like I maybe can just do this, make a few dollars. That was not achievable. There was no way that was achievable. It had nothing to do with me. Sort of, a little bit to do with me, but not much. It was really just, for some reason, there was a demand that I needed to have 2 to 3 years of experience doing something like that for somebody else somehow, and then I could do it for this company. So like I had to go to some other company, trick them into letting me do it for 2 to 3 years somehow, and then then another different company would let me do it. Well, it's not that I had to trick them, but probably there may have been another path to do it, but I was like, I don't want to, like I just need like a minimum wage job to pay my bills. Like I don't need to do 3 years of truck driving. Just like that's not at all what I want to do. Like what are we doing here? Yeah, and not to knock truck drivers, but that wasn't my goal. Was like I didn't attend university to get a degree to become a truck driver. It's retarded. It's retarded. Okay, like that's not why you go to school. Like going to school is great, but like you could become a truck driver without going to university. Like why the and I didn't want to be a semi truck driver. I just wanted to pick these packages up there from this place and deliver them over there to that place, and that was all I wanted to do. Like I just wanted to. Not achievable. Not an achievable goal. Okay. All right. So yeah, that seems to be the issue with motivation. Seems to be overwhelmed. A little overwhelmed. Feelings of being overwhelmed. Right. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so I've got to, it seems that if I want to stay motivated, I've got to try to find goals that are achievable and relevant. And as I mentioned, there are just so many legal issues. Everything you do is just legal this and legal that. And also, by the way, there's privacy issues too, security and privacy issues constantly. So like your privacy and security is being constantly invaded on top of all kinds of legal problems being created. And this is like I said, it's like it's not even malicious. Like some of it is, like I do have people who maliciously don't like me and they want to try to cause trouble, which is a tragedy. Again, it's another tragedy. It's like I can't get enough tragedies. A lot of it is just plain negligence. Like they're just not paying attention. Like they just don't care. They're not paying attention. Doesn't affect them. This sort of thing. I kind of hinted at that previously, like when you're extremely disappointed. Like, I think it's fair to be extremely disappointed that you can't feed yourself not because you're not able, not because you're not willing, but just this almost arbitrary, like red tape. Just like, we're just going to put a line there and just say, you can't do this. Why? Why? We said so. That's why. Who? The previous generation made all these rules to make it difficult for you to survive. Why did they do that? I don't know. They did. They just did. They were like, we want to do things this way. It's important that we do things this way, and you may or may not be able to survive. And that's your problem, kiddo. It's for you to figure that one out. And what's tragic too is I look at some of the people who have found things that are achievable, and it's so sad. It's so sad because some of them they're just the most opportunistic, and they're like they do things that like I would never do, right? Like, I was raised to like treat other people as you'd want to be treated, right? Like that whole thing, and apparently like in business it's like nah, that goes right out the window. Like for me, it's like copying someone else's business and basically taking a cut of their market, taking a cut of their business. To me, that seems like I wouldn't want someone to do that to me, so I wouldn't want to do that to them, right? Now, obviously, if it's a matter of survival and like you're gonna die, I shouldn't say, forgive me, YouTube. If you're going to suffer a lot, let's say, suffer immensely, yeah, like it's a matter of survival, then okay, I guess you don't have a choice. But I wouldn't do that just to make more money, right? Like I'm well within the realm of survival, and I'm literally just going to do this because I'm an opportunistic person who just doesn't live by the golden rule. No. What do you mean golden rule? What? And that's also really sad. That's another thing I've seen that kind of irks me a little bit. That like, no, it is like it's kind of a free for all. Like the people who have found achievable goals are people who are opportunistic and kind of don't really care what happens to the country. Like, doesn't really care about what happens to you, doesn't care if they're cutting into your market and now like you're going to suffer, like they're going to gain at your expense because they just copied your business to verbatim. Like they just copied it. They were like, we're going to just do this. Which again, I can understand that doing things like that if you need to survive, but like if you're just doing it because you want to like just take from other people, it's kind of like, I don't know. Some people call that competition. I wouldn't say that's competition exactly, not necessarily. Now, granted, there are things that like people should be allowed to do what they want to an extent, but it's also, I personally am not too comfortable with doing that. I don't think that's good. Yeah. So anyway, that's something that happens in the country that I have a hard time wrapping my head around. But that element of like things that are achievable, it's like, yeah, I mean, you could just like take from someone else legally or whatever. I don't know how you even understand that properly. Call it being competitive. I don't know. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. But that's what people like. I've seen that. I've seen people. They're like, oh yeah, like I'm doing great. They're like they got millions of dollars and they're very doing fantastic. And and it's like, oh, how'd you do it? It's like, yeah, I just copied other people. Like I just took other people's businesses and cut into their market, and I just took from those people. And it's like, oh, that's not impressive at all. That's actually kind of depressing. That's actually just sad. That's just kind of like you're actually just not really a very impressive person, are you? You're just kind of opportunistic and selfish, aren't you? And forgive me, you're probably noticing a little bit of like resentment in my tone because it's like, yeah, that's good. That's always, that's kind of bitter. That like, here you are, you can't even achieve like just very basic, simple things. And if you want to achieve anything, you're kind of forced to like sacrifice your sense of like dignity and self-respect and self and all of that, and a sense of like, having a moral compass, I guess. Got to sacrifice some of your convictions about how you think people should be treated in your country. That's pretty rough. It's pretty bitter, pretty sad. Again, I alluded to like extreme disappointment previously. It's like, yeah, that's disappointing. I think that's disappointing. Can't achieve anything without effectively taking someone else down a peg. It's kind of like, that's pretty weak too. Like I don't like that. The only legal path is the path of like weakness and just like opportunism and whatever. Highly unimpressive, and I'm not impressed. I'm just not impressed. But yeah, so Achievable and relevant. All right, so I've got to spend the time. Now, you know what is achievable and relevant? Chatbots are pretty good. And the chatbot may be useful as a tool to help find achievable and relevant things, goals, that are not illegal, right? So that's good. That's good. That's good news. It might help me stay feel less overwhelmed, a little more motivated. I've noticed there's a temptation when I don't have anything to do, or I'm not very motivated, to dwell on things that are not very positive. Like noticing, that like the people that are succeeding are, say they're far more opportunistic than I am, and to a degree of like, in some cases, immorality. Like some of them just outright commit fraud. It's not to say that copying someone else's business idea is fraud. It's just not a nice thing to do. That's not nice to do to someone. To just basically take take a cut of someone else's business just because you want to, right? You just greedy and selfish. I mean, it's literally just pure self-interest, selfishness. Like I don't know. I view that as like kind of like, first off, you're kind of weak if you can't like come up with something on your own. Like it's not impressive. Number one, like it's like kind of like just tacitly a weak thing, and two, I wouldn't want someone to do that to me, man. Like that would suck. Like your paycheck's getting cut in half today. Why? Because someone else wanted to take some of your paycheck. That's why. Like, oh, is that how we're doing things now? Is that how that works? Why isn't that theft? It's like, well, it's because it's business. That's how it works. They're being competitive. They're competing with you now. They weren't competing with you now they are. Like, oh, is that what competition is? I guess. It's pretty funny. It's like, I don't know what to say about that. I don't want to think too hard about that one because that'll make my head spin. Like on some level you do want competition, but on another level it's like, what are you doing? Like, what is this? What are you doing? Just try to take someone else's business from them. So that's not a comfortable thing to think about. Being either on the receiving end of that or on the side that's thinking about cutting into someone's business. Because that's what I'm saying, is that I could find achievable things. I could just copy other people. That's achievable. That's plenty achievable. But is it right? Should I really do that? Like, would I feel right with myself doing that? Is that really the kind of person that I am? Like, do I really, would I stoop so low? Well, if you're starving, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Or if you notice the person you're competing with are themselves pretty opportunistic and probably not too deserving of the position they're in anyway, then it's like, I wouldn't care. They have plenty of money. Okay, they're not starving anytime soon. How that person got into that business was largely opportunistic in the first place. And they don't really need that money all that much anyway. I could probably find ways to make myself feel better about it. Not a comfortable thing to think about. Not comfortable. But definitely something that's talking about things being achievable and relevant. It's like, well, just copying other people. That's the thing. Okay, well, somebody's able to achieve things despite all the red tape and the laws and the regulations and all that nonsense. It's like, well, just copy those people and just compete with them very directly. I wouldn't recommend that. That's probably not a good idea for various reasons. But there are people out there that say, hey, that's what I did. I'm like, yep, just took somebody else's thing. And made a ton of money and Didn't look back. Didn't question it for a moment. Didn't question it and they'll say it publicly too. They'll go out there and they think they're saying this publicly, like this is totally fine, totally normal, totally fine. You just take someone else's lunch. You're like, anyway, okay. Break goals into smaller steps. So fair. Okay, fair. Divide large tasks into manageable chunks to reduce overwhelm. Completing small milestones builds confidence and maintains momentum. For example, writing a book can start with outlining chapters or writing daily pages. Okay. So small milestones. All right. So I could use the AI, the chatbot, to find achievable and relevant goals. And then I can make them specific and measurable and time-bound. And then I can also divide those tasks into smaller pieces and do them incrementally. And I can also use the chatbot to assist in that regard if I'm not really sure how exactly I could break things up into better chunks, smaller chunks, manageable chunks. Or actually more, in my case, it would be more like, is this realistic? Like ask that question. Like, is this actually realistic? Like, this seems like I might be able to do this, but the chatbot would know a little more about. Really, the thing when I say realistic, I mean, is it legal? Is it legal? Because that's, like I said, that in my experience, the vast majority of the time when you're struggling to find an achievable goal, it's because it's illegal. That's why it's not achievable. And not because it has to be illegal, by the way. Like, it's something that, like, there are all kinds of laws you can see. And the United States is particularly interesting, where you have the federal government has all kinds of laws, but the state governments get to choose, too, what they think should be law and not law. And the states have different laws because they're different, and they're allowed to have different laws. And you notice, like, which laws are actually you actually need them and you don't. Like, how many laws are actually just superfluous, like they're just unneeded. And I would argue just about all the laws we have, just about all, like 99.9% of the laws we have, just don't need them. Just don't need them. And it's probably actually more than that. It's probably even further, like, it's not even an issue of the laws, it's just the quality of people that we have in the country has dropped so dramatically that you need to have all of these laws that are just a pain in the neck constantly to, like, baby all of these people. Like, you've just got all of these people that are troublemakers, and they're committing fraud, and they're violent, and they're doing this, and they're doing that, and they're immoral, and they're amoral, and they're unethical, and they're opportunistic, and on and on and on. You've got to have all these laws to corral these lunatics. And the rest of us have to suffer. The rest of us, our goals are no longer achievable because we can't legally function. Because you got to have all these safeguards, like it's what they call the nanny state. Like, it's just everything, every little thing you do has to have a law, or else. We're talking about the government. We're talking about you're going to jail, or you're going to get a serious fine, or whatever. Which, again, ironically, we also have civil law as opposed to criminal law, where now civil law, if you have enough money, it doesn't matter. A lot of civil law, it's just an issue of money. It's not really an issue of jail time or other serious punishment, serious consequences. Which for the vast majority of people, the financial punishment is far more severe than jail time. But for a smallest group of people, select group of people, it's the other way around, where the financial punishments are meaningless. Whereas the jail time, actually, they can make the jail time kind of meaningless too. They have enough money, they can do that too, which is sad. But what they would really fear, these people, would be capital punishment, not really jail time. Which, well, hey, that's the only way they're gonna stop their horrendous behavior, right? Their harmful behavior. But yeah, it's a tough situation. It's not very fun. But yeah, going back to the laws, if something is achievable or not. Most of the time, yes. So using the chatbot to figure out whether or not the goal you've set for yourself, you can reasonably attain it legally, right, and within your means, right. So that would be probably what I would use the chatbot for this element. Okay. Okay. Rewards and accountability. Okay, reward yourself after completing tasks to reinforce positive behavior. Share your goals with others to increase accountability, or use tools like vision boards and to-do lists to stay focused. So yeah, I really struggle with focus too. I've had to actually come up with like ways to stay focused, and I think the issue for me, in that regard, it's not that hard to deal with, but it's just there's certain things in my life that are just painfully distracting, and I really struggle. Like I just struggle not to get distracted, and for me, a big thing is just like isolating myself for a little while. Like just go somewhere quiet, go somewhere else, and just go somewhere where there's no one's going to talk to you or bother you or anything like that. No one's going to pester you. And you can have some like peace of mind, and you can like focus and not be so distracted. Lately it's been a little harder to do that. I think that may have been kind of affecting my productivity, my focus. But yeah, staying focused is pretty important. I do actually use tools to like stay focused. Like I would recommend anybody like that's struggling with focus, like especially if you're bored, is like have like a journal or diary or something and just write down stuff. And just kind of write down what you're thinking and what you'd like to do and all that, and how you might want to achieve it, and these kinds of things, things you're frustrated about. I like to just that helps like kind of keep the like emotions in check, I suppose. But yeah. It's funny. I'm thinking about like things not being achievable. Like there was a guy a while back. He's got a Wikipedia page where he wanted to become a pilot, and I think it was his eyesight. He had issues with his eyesight, so he couldn't become a pilot. And they were like, "Look, you need to have, I think it was like 20/20 vision. Like you have to have 20/20 vision without corrective lenses, something like that. And otherwise you can't be a pilot. You can't fly." And he wanted to be a pilot so badly that I think what he decided to do was like take a whole bunch of balloons and tie them to a chair and start flying in the air with just balloons or something that's totally mad. And his plan was to use a BB gun to shoot the balloons once he's satisfied with his flight. In order to come down, he's going to shoot the balloons with a BB gun, and then he's going to be able to sort of slowly come back down to ground, which is not a good plan, by the way. The problem with that is that as you start losing buoyancy, gravity takes over and starts accelerating faster and faster. So unless you're really careful with how you do that, probably want to land in a tree somewhere, probably don't want to fly too high, you're going to be accelerating into the ground. So the further up you are, the harder you hit the ground, which, it could be a little bit of a bumpy ride, a little bit rough. You're really going to want to use pen and paper for that math and try to figure out exactly how high you could actually go with that plan, which is probably not very high. But anyway, I think he survived. I think he was okay. So it is possible, I think, but not a good idea. Also, the other issue is that's not legal, right? Again, things being achievable. So not only is it not legal for him to fly in the first place, traditionally in a standard way, but not legal for him to fly in that way as well. All kinds of other violations involved with that. Yeah. But again, I don't know, it just makes me think of like achievable. Is it achievable? Is it legal, really? If you're talking about the United States, the question is it legal? Is more so the question. Reward yourself after completing tasks to reinforce positive behavior. Share your goals with others to increase accountability, or use tools like vision boards and to-do lists to stay focused. Yeah, these things are good. Staying focused is important. I definitely struggle with staying focused, and I've kind of found different ways to help. But definitely writing things down helps a bunch, and like to-do lists and things of that nature. Align with intrinsic motivation. Focus on goals that genuinely interest you. When tasks feel personally meaningful, motivation is more sustainable. Combine less enjoyable tasks with positive outcomes. Learning math helps me become a builder. I gotta work on that one. All of the stuff that I've been like required to do as of late has nothing to do with me. It's literally just like, yeah, your country's collapsing and like you just need to survive. It's like I don't care at all about any of this stuff. None of it is like intrinsically meaningful in any way. All of it is just soul sucking, and like I don't care about the job. I don't care about what I'm doing. Like none of it matters. All of it's just like you need to pay off the debt from the degree that was useless, and you have to like buy a home that's overpriced because the housing market's unstable, and like you need to have a home, otherwise you're gonna have all kinds of other problems in life, and like none of it actually matters. Like none of it, I don't care about any of it. None of it is like meaningful or fun or interesting. It's just like depressing and frustrating, and like you're just forced to do it because you have to. Like you just have to. You got to pay your debt. You got to go fix all the stupid nonsense from previously that you just didn't understand or weren't told that no, like housing market is horrendously unstable, the job market's horrendously unstable, like the whole thing is just a mess. Like you just didn't know. No one told you. No one's gonna be bothered to tell you. Yeah, it's brutal. It's not really your fault. At some level, it's your fault. Like you're responsible for it, but it's not. Like what are you supposed to do if you're just running around in the dark? And nobody cares enough to be like, hey, don't do that. Like don't go that way. Like I know they said you should do this and do that, but they're lying. Like they're wrong. They're most of those people are either just too ignorant or short-sighted or self-interested to actually guide you properly. Yeah, no, really, pretty tough, pretty uncomfortable. Yeah, so like that's I'll work on that. Maybe I'll use the chatbot. Ask like, hey, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I make these things that I don't care about at all? Like they're all just like almost all of the stuff I have to do as of late, or it's just legal requirements. Like I just have to be like legally compliant. Like that's it. I just have to be legally compliant. And I don't care. I don't care about any of it. It's like, you're gonna work so you can eat. You're gonna work so you don't starve. Like that's great. That's so motivating. It's so motivating. I can't wait to just be able to eat. Come home and work, and then I can have a meal and get back to work. It's so motivating. I can't wait to do that. Can't wait to just work so I can continue to work more. So that way I'm not like painfully disinterested. Right. So something that is personally meaningful. And there's very few things that are like personally meaningful to me anymore. It's pretty sad. It's really sad. There's almost I have almost none of the tasks that I have in front of me, just about none of them actually matter to me on a personal level. Like it's literally just like, yeah, you don't want to be like homeless on the street. You don't want to be starving. Like you need to do some soul-sucking thing that you don't care about at all. So that way you could eat. That's about it. That's your life. For the next like 2 to 3 years, it's probably going to be about it. And again, it's like very sad how it all happened and the situation I found myself in. Which again, I don't think I'm the only one. I think there's probably a lot of other people that are like, yeah, it's not very motivating. Although when you're actually starving, it is kind of motivating. So that's That's good. Which I was starving for a while, so that did help. But yeah, definitely struggling with motivation. Align with intrinsic motivation. It's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a tough one. I could try to figure out something that would be motivating. I could try. I could at least try. I could ask the chatbot about that too. Like, what? I don't know. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of the things that I would be doing are pretty meaningless, just to be totally blunt. Like, it's like, I guess you could argue, like, well, after you do those things, then you can do things that are meaningful to you. And to be totally fair, even the things that I would want to do that might have some meaning, a lot of that is just to kind of like, I'm more so looking to just like numb the pain, I guess. Numb the pain, just like forget about like the horrors of just horrors and tragedies that I've been made to endure. Just the awful just misgivings. Yeah, even that is not really too meaningful, quite frankly. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I've gotten to a point where like I'm not sure if I personally matter anymore. You know, so it's hard for me to be personally motivated or have things that are personally meaningful. It's like my life is kind of, it's not that I don't exist, but I basically don't matter to like the world in simple terms. I pretty much, it's not that I don't exist, but like I don't really matter, right? I don't matter sort of in like the, I don't know, very, I don't know how to express that. I don't know how to say it. I don't even know how to express it. It's almost like God. Like, you think of God, like no one cares about, not that no one cares about God. People worship God, but he's God, right? He doesn't necessarily care what you think about him, right? Like, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. That's kind of where I'm at too. I'm like, I literally don't know if I'm even going to be around, because I've been thinking about leaving the country, because like I said, like this achievable thing, it's a little much, you know, like it's very challenging for me to find achievable goals that are also relevant, to degrees that's so extreme that I think leaving the country, and part of the problem is like there's nowhere to go. It's like, where are you even gonna go? What are you even gonna do? To the point where I've thought about like, maybe I'll just be like stateless, like just the whole thing doesn't, just nothing matters. Yeah, so really tough but the point of it is that like I don't matter as a person, I guess, something like that, in like a very, I don't know, like kind of extreme way. And it's kind of like there is nothing personally meaningful because I'm not really like a person anymore. Don't matter. Don't exist. Don't matter. Don't, irrelevant, unneeded, unwanted, just totally ignored, neglected. Just doesn't matter. Effectively. Again, like if you can't even just get a job driving a truck to feed yourself, like you're not even allowed to do that. Like you can't, like it just don't matter. Don't matter, unneeded, unwanted, and anything that's personally meaningful to you is just irrelevant, and to anybody, and even to yourself. So there's nothing about you that matters. That's like roughly where I'm at, something like that. I don't know. It just doesn't matter. And again, none of the tasks I have to do anyway are like personally meaningful. Like it's literally just like you just need to not starve, not be homeless and not starve. And anything beyond that is like irrelevant, because it's like you're just not, kind of just not wanted, right? Don't want you around, but no one wants you around. Like, what is it? There's nothing to do. There's nothing to care about. So yeah, it's pretty tough. I don't know. I don't know. There's no point to anything. the only thing I could think of is like you gotta, what do you call that? Like you, there are things I'd like to do later, I suppose. But like I said, most of the stuff I'm interested in doing is literally just becoming independent. And like, it's just for the sake of survival. It's like, it's not the most motivating. So I don't know. I gotta think hard about this. Like it's, and you might say like, well, you gotta go become religious and you gotta go do this and go do that. It's like, no, that's not gonna do it. That's kind of, a lot of the religious stuff I don't really believe in as much anymore. A lot of it seems kind of foolish. A lot of it's really corrupt is another issue. A lot of it's just kind of stupid. And then it's also like, that's, I need, that's like not personally meaningful. Like serving God. It's like, well, that's, it has nothing to do with me again. Again, it's not about me. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I could maybe like just be hedonistic or something. I don't know. Even that is not too satisfying or motivating as well. Like raw hedonism is also pretty meaningless, devoid of meaning. So I don't know. This might be, let's just say this part might be a little harder. Like this part might just be a little tough. I'd have to think a little hard about that. Yeah. Not to say that I don't exist, but like roughly speaking, I basically don't exist. And it's kind of like it's sort of, in some sense, I don't know how to express that. It's a weird kind of thing, but I also, part of it too is like, I don't know, I'm going to talk about this another time. I thought about like when I was younger, they talk about like, well, young people sometimes they think like they want to live forever, like they're going to be invincible and immortal and live forever and that kind of thing. And there are some things there that are curious, because one of the questions that people have are like, well, like, aren't you going to miss your friends? Like, if you're immortal and your friends are not, aren't you going to miss your friends? And I guess something that dawns on you when you're an adult, when you get older, is that actually a lot of your friends aren't really going to be around anyway, even if you're not immortal. And there's a lot of different reasons for that. It's kind of just not how it works. Like, your friends just aren't going to be around all the time to begin with. Which is a little rough, a little tough to think about, I think. Again, as an adult, it's not that hard, because it's like, well, like I already understand all this, already kind of familiar with these things, but I think for a young person it might be a little bit uncomfortable to think about that. But yeah, anyway, I don't know. I can maybe talk about that topic another time. But as far as things being intrinsically motivating because they're personally meaningful to me, it just like pains me to think about. It's just like, it's painful to think about. What do you do if you've been unpersoned though? Like, what if you do if you don't matter? Yeah, I don't know. I gotta think about that more. What to do with that? I don't know. We'll come back to that one. What might be personally meaningful to me? Escaping. Oh, that's so brutal. Just escaping. Yeah. Help you get out of here. Will help you survive, I suppose. I mean, that's like, again, it's not very motivating. It's, I don't know, help me have more free time to do things I might enjoy, maybe. Yeah, it feels bad to not be able to answer this easily. It feels so bad. It feels so bad. That's something you probably should be able to answer without getting too wound up about it. All right. So, okay. Maintain physical and mental well-being. Eat well, stay hydrated, and get enough sleep. Physical health directly impacts energy levels and focus. Also seek support from mentors or counselors when motivation dips. All right. I don't have that. I don't have those things. Not really. I don't have those things. And then, I have the chatbots I could use. That's good. Chatbots are reasonable. They'll help you out. Maintain physical and mental well-being. Eat well, stay hydrated, and get enough sleep. Yeah, that's important. Yeah, physical health directly impacts energy levels and focus. Yeah, I've been struggling with that a little bit too because I don't have a great kind of living situation. It's very chaotic to say the least. That doesn't help. So, oh boy. I didn't think I was going to be that annoyed making this video. That frustrated. Annoyed, frustrated, but kind of almost embarrassed. I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit almost embarrassed. I don't know if I should post this, but I think it's fine. It's probably okay. It's just what I'm thinking. It's not thinking thoughts about motivation, which I think is okay to share. Maybe a little bit too personal, some of it. I'm sure these are things a lot of other people have been feeling and thinking. And it's got to be. Let's see. Eat well, stay hydrated, and get enough sleep. Yeah, I think for me, that I usually do okay with that, but staying focused is important, but also some of this you have to have the means to do it as well, which I do struggle with. That. Yeah, it's okay. It's not the hardest thing to do. I have learned how to eat on a very, very, very low budget. A very, very low budget. Which I find astounding that some people struggle with this as far as eating. Because you could eat for $50 a month. I mean, not 50, but pretty low. Somewhere around, I would say less than $100 a month you could feed yourself. And feed yourself well, too. Get pretty good meals. As far as nutrition, and relatively tasty. Excuse me, you could typically get water, different sources. A lot of times you can get water for free, quite frankly, which is good. Getting enough sleep can be kind of tricky. I get people, oh my gosh, the harassment that I deal with at times. Holy smokes. I try to sleep sometimes, and I get harassed when I try to sleep. It's brutal. And I've said this before, I get provoked in ways that are horrendous. That's one of them. That's oh my gosh. But I don't want to get into too much detail about that, but that's one of those ways. It's just oh, what's wrong with you? Try to sleep torture somebody. It's pretty horrific. All right, so yeah, physical health impacts energy levels and focus. Okay. So I need to. It seems my personal situation, hardest thing seems to be finding goals that are both achievable and relevant. Goals that are both achievable and relevant. That's been the hardest. And then breaking them into more manageable tasks is not too hard. That's not too bad. And like I said, the main issue that I find when things are not achievable, it's just they're not legal. Like, it's just not legal. The other issue is, like, sometimes it takes a lot of time. Like, it just takes a long time to get these things going. Or it takes a lot of capital. It takes some more capital than I have to actually get them going, get it off the ground, or it takes more time than I have to actually get it off the ground. That happens quite a bit too. That has happened. That's been more recently an issue for me. Like I said, things increasingly get harder and harder as you struggle more and more, or at least as you kind of fall further and further behind. Things get harder and harder because you have less and less time for things that, like, you could do, but it would be a longer timeline, or you have less and less capital. So things that you could do, if you had more capital, you could do them. More and more things become less achievable, which is pretty sad, pretty tough. But that's not to say that it's impossible. It's just that it gets harder. That's all. Which in my case, actually, I've been able. The other way around is true too as well. Like, as you gain more capital, you have more options, and same thing. You can get more time for yourself, and then more things become achievable. So the other direction also happens as well, which is okay. But I'm definitely very frustrated regarding what is actually achievable, and a lot of that has to do with what's legal, and a lot of those things, it's superfluous, which is extremely frustrating. Like, things that you probably should be able to do, things that probably should be illegal, are just illegal, and you're like, why? Yeah, intrinsic motivation that's definitely pretty difficult, because it's my kind of, like, thoughts about who I am as a person, sort of, that's definitely been, like, pretty difficult thing to deal with. Yeah, like I said, being basically like a non-person, like being a kind of unpersoned, like you don't, not needed, not wanted, not it doesn't really matter if you're here or not, is pretty difficult, I would say. And it's basically true, but it's also hard to come to terms with, I suppose. I don't know what to say about all that. Like, it's definitely hard to have things that are personally meaningful if you don't exist. If you're, like, not even a real person, you're like something of not considered to be like I don't know how to express that. You're just so woefully neglected, so woefully unneeded, rejected, whatever you want to call it. That's just like, that doesn't matter. You just don't matter. Yeah, that's pretty tough. That's pretty uncomfortable. Pretty tough. But particularly it's difficult to with regard to this, it's difficult to be personally meaningful. Have anything that's personally meaningful if, like, nothing you do is personally meaningful. Yeah, a discarded. That's what I would say. Being a discarded person. If you've been discarded, and you're a discarded person, then on a I don't know. Then, like, you're not really considered to be a person anymore in a lot of ways, and so nothing is personally meaningful because you're not a person. I don't know, man. Another way of expressing it's like, well, if you're a force of nature, you're not really a person anymore, and it's hard for things to be personally meaningful in that state of mind. So I don't know. That's weird. That's a weird thing. It's a weird thing to think about. But It's pretty dark too, some of that. So forgive me. I didn't really intend for this to get too dark. but not being motivated is kind of a dark thing, I suppose. Like, it's a sign of something deeper that's not right, I think. And the mental and physical well-being. Yeah, I mean, I kind of struggle with that at times, for various reasons. Like I said, it's just... yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail about it. It can be difficult, but that can be difficult at times. All right. So there you go. How do we do? An hour and 20 minutes. Oh, this is so long. Oh, gosh. Well, I don't know. It is what it is. It is what it is. Those are my thoughts. How to stay motivated. Or at least that was what the chatbot came back with. Now, I can go into more detail in some of these things, but like I said, I think for me to summarize, the hardest thing for me would be I've got to find achievable and relevant goals, things that are relevant and achievable, because I have a bad habit of finding things that are relevant but they're not achievable, or things that I think are achievable but they're not actually achievable. They would be relevant but they're not achievable, right? Yeah, so smart goals. Okay, break those goals into more manageable chunks so you're not overwhelmed. So yeah, the other issue, first issue is achievable goals. Second issue is being overwhelmed, right? So the goals that you've set out for yourself, they're overwhelming, right? And some of the challenges that I've been faced with are genuinely overwhelming. It's just genuinely like way too much. And it's a tragic thing, but it just is what it is, I guess. Complaining about it's not going to help. Complaining about it's not going to help. I've tried. I've tried for years. That doesn't work. That's not going to get you anywhere. But definitely, whatever you're doing, you got to stay motivated. Otherwise, how can you function if you're not motivated? Okay. So rewards and accountability to reinforce positive behavior. Share your goals with others to increase accountability, or use tools like vision boards and to-do lists. I actually don't recommend this. I remember reading somewhere that it's a good idea to share your goals with other people, and the reason for that is it increases accountability. It'll like get you to stay motivated, because it basically is like this kind of emotion. You're gonna emotionally blackmail yourself by like other people will think you're foolish if you don't stick to your goals. But the problem with this is that things change so rapidly and so much is out of your control that you just kind of look foolish from the get-go when you do this. Like what happened to me is that and I felt stupid actually. Like I stopped sharing my goals with other people because first off, I couldn't achieve so many of them. Like I would think something's achievable and then find out later it's not. And then the next thing was that things would change so rapidly in my life. Things would be so chaotic that I wouldn't be able to really have control over anything. Like it was like barely anything I actually had control over. And anything that I would say I'm going to try to do this or do that, it's like you're not going to do those things. It's not going to happen. Sorry, bud. You're going to have another chaotic and horrendous thing's going to happen that you're just not going to, or I just won't have the motivation. Like a lot of stuff I just don't have the motivation for. Like thinking over the years of my life. More recently, I've had issues that are like way more, like I said, way more like severe and challenging. But even in the past, like I've had just like, even when like I probably could do things, like I just wouldn't be motivated to do it. To be quite blunt, I think all of my motivation had been focused on I need to have a place to live. Like I don't really have a place to live. I need a place to live. Like that's always been kind of the core motivating thing. And I've always kind of had this malaise of I'm not too motivated to just try to survive. It's just not very motivating. Don't really care that much. and it's like kind of overwhelming just to do that alone. And has been. And again, part of it is like just being misguided, misdirected, because I could have just become a truck driver, and I could have had 2-3 years. I could have done so many other things that I would have had a relatively secure future. Maybe I wouldn't have made a lot of money, but I wouldn't be out of a job for years on end. I wouldn't struggle with that, and I wouldn't like greatly struggle with motivation on top of it, because like everything you do just doesn't matter, doesn't make a difference. Yeah. Something like that. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's not fun to think about. But I don't recommend sharing your goals with other people. I don't recommend that. I don't think so. That's good. Because like I said, in my case, in my experience, like so many of the things I'd like to do, I won't be able to do them. Can't do them, won't be able to do them. Not gonna happen. Sorry. It's either just not legal, or you're just not gonna have the means, or you don't have the capital, you don't have the time, you don't have the motivation, just some variation of these things. Constantly. And it's just foolish. You just look like a fool trying to do things that aren't gonna happen. I typically do have the brain power for stuff, but even that is like a tricky thing too, because I've had goals that were like, I wanted to solve this really tough problem, and it's like, doesn't matter how, you can't force it, like doesn't matter how much you sit and think about it, you just aren't aware of certain things that would help you like resolve that problem, and you won't for like a decade. Like that's happened too, where it's just I don't know, I don't know what to say about that. But yeah, that's a weird one. I wouldn't necessarily call it brain power, because I definitely have any amount of brain power that's required, I have it, but maybe knowledge, something like that. I tend to be lacking in certain bits of knowledge that might be relevant, because it's not just having the knowledge, it's having the knowledge and then knowing that it can be applied to the thing that you're looking at, and that it can be useful. There's more to it than just being knowledgeable, I suppose. Experience too, and like how you apply it, and there's all kinds of things that could be relevant that are anyway, I don't know why I'm rambling about that, but no, I don't recommend sharing your goals with other people to increase accountability. I think that's a bad call. Firstly, it kind of makes you seem foolish, and secondly, it's like you're just effectively blackmailing yourself. You're basically saying like, well, if I don't do it, I'll look dumb to my friends, and I don't want to look dumb to my friends. So it's kind of like, if you need to like blackmail yourself to be motivated, like it just seems wrong. It seems like that in itself is kind of depressing and demotivating. That like you feel like you're just so weak that you can't just do things. Like I don't know, man. I don't know. It doesn't sit well with me. I think about it and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Like, don't do that. I had tried it too in the past. I had tried that, and I just felt really stupid. And that was not very motivating. Feeling like an idiot. It's not very motivating. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend that one. No. Vision boards and to-do lists. These are kind of similar. I mean, well, to-do lists and just writing down what you're interested in, that can help you stay focused, because you can kind of remind yourself like what you're doing and what you want to do and that kind of thing. But like, you can have a problem of like, well, actually, this isn't that realistic, or this is going to work like this, or I have to try a different path, or whatever. I noticed something similar with like if you got to write software design documents. I had a course. Actually, it was for a class for university where they wanted us to write like some kind of design document, and I just had no clue what was even supposed to be in that document. Like I just had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know why I was doing it. I didn't know what the purpose of this was. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know anything. Just nothing. And I was like, how the hell am I supposed to make a design document? And they would ask all these questions, and I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I have no idea. I don't have a clue. And the thing that got me was like, how am I supposed to write like a whole design for something that I don't even know how to build? Like, I have no clue. I don't know. Because the problem was that I didn't even understand the technologies we were using. Like, it wasn't just typing code. That's fine. I could type code, and I didn't know all the algorithms out there, but I could always look up algorithms I needed to know. Like, I mean, it wasn't that bad. But what I really struggled with was like, I didn't know like we were supposed to write. I think it was a website. We were going to build a game on a website, and it was like, well, I don't know what a backend server is. I didn't even know what a compiler was, I think, at that time. I didn't know what a back-end server was. I didn't know what a compiler was. I didn't know what a front-end was. I didn't know how these things communicate with each other. There's actually a lot of questions I still don't really fully grasp or fully understand years later. I mean, it's been like over a decade. There's still a lot of stuff that I didn't really go into great detail about. There's loads of stuff that I don't know and don't understand. And I probably should know. It would be good to know those things. It would be helpful. But excuse me. I have more pressing things to address than those things. But yeah, I just didn't know. And I kind of thought like, well, like, how am I supposed to write an entire design document when I don't have a clue? And that was tough. I don't think I passed that course on top of it. I was just totally clueless. Oh, but what caught my attention about that was that how things changed too. It's like, obviously, as I learned more about what we were doing, whatever it was, which I didn't understand, didn't grasp, like I would learn more about different technologies that we could use to do stuff. And I would obviously change the design as I learned more about different technology, different tools that we could use, and find out that maybe what I had designed won't work very well or isn't a good design, and I'd want to iterate on that. I want to change that. And it kind of dawned on me. I was like, this is a weird way of designing something where like you're going to design the entire thing in one shot and just assume the whole thing is fine and even functions and even is like reasonable. like I just kind of knew this was like kind of silly what we were doing, and I was like, I had a hard time. Again, I had a hard time being motivated with that one. I was just like, this just seems so meaningless. It seems so like stupid. And like I kind of like forced myself to do it, and like I don't think it was probably terrible, and it didn't make any sense, and I was just like, I don't know, man. Like it told me I have to have a design document here. So yeah, that was weird. It was a weird situation to be in. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. So that it just reminds me of like goals. I think probably should have some level of fluidity to them. In my case, extreme fluidity, because things change very rapidly and dramatically, constantly. I don't like it. It's not fun, but it's kind of just how it goes for me. Just writing things down is helpful. Having like some kind of structure for like what you're aiming to do, looking to do, and then you can fill out the details as you kind of go. A little more detailed, or revise it, or things like that. That seems like a better way to do design. I mean, really, designs are iterative. I mean, that's kind of just how it goes. But yeah, writing like the entire design out, it's kind of ridiculous. It's like how, and the reason why I say it's ridiculous is because it's like, well, how do you design it before you produce it? Excuse me, because the reason why you would want to create it and then realize the thing you created doesn't make sense or doesn't work or whatever, and figure out what's going on with it and how you could change it to something that actually is functional and actually does matter, is meaningful or relevant. And then you'd want to make a design document, like for something that is actually useful. You'd want to have a design document for. Like it's almost like if you were to design a recipe for food, and it's like, okay, you're going to experiment with all these different things. Like you don't want to write out your cooking design, like your recipe, before you actually have something that actually like works. It's actually good. Like you'd want to do a lot of experimenting and testing and trying stuff. And then finally you get something, and then you're like, oh, okay, this works. Okay, what did I do? Let me write it down. And like that's kind of how I view design and design documents. It's actually more of an afterthought more than a preemptive thing. Yeah, maybe that's kind of what I'm trying to get at here. Like I don't approach it at all like, oh, I know the whole thing and I'm going to write it down and then I'm going to follow this whole thing all the way through. It's like, no, that's going to be a mess. Like, this is going to break in so many spots. It's a very brittle, like, approach to designing and building things. Or it's a brittle approach to designing something. That's a terrible way to design something, that just, like, assume your design is worth building first, and then just design the whole thing and then try to build it and realize that no, it's got all kinds of problems. Like, of course, you didn't test anything. It was a totally fictional thing, totally just imaginary thing. You got to actually, like, test it, see where your design has problems. And just about like any design you come up, especially if you're like very new to whatever it is you're doing, your design's going to be having all kinds of ridiculous flaws, like out from the get-go. Especially if you don't even know like the technology you're using to build it. Like you're just like, oh yeah, here's a bunch of technology you could use. Like I don't even know how any of this works. Like I just have to somehow stick this together to make something that might be functional. Yeah, it was really bizarre. It was weird. It was such a weird thing, and I was like, I don't like this at all. I don't think this is good. This is kind of terrible, quite frankly. Yeah, like I said, the way I view design, I view it much more in the other direction, where it's more like you're experimenting with a bunch of stuff. You're doing R&D. You find something that might be helpful or useful, and then you write it down. You write down the thing that was good. All right, that's like how I would design. That's like how I view designs. It's not really the designing part isn't writing it down. It's tinkering, and then you have something that's good. Somehow came up with something that's good. You thought about it and you worked it out and you did the whole thing, and then you write down like, okay, this is how I did it, right? I think that's like so it's actually would be the other way around. Like you wouldn't start off your project by making this really complicated design. You'd start off by tinkering and figuring things out. And then you'd write your several textbooks on how you design the world's best compiler, or you built the world's best compiler, or whatever it is. Yeah. So that's kind of how I view it, and that's kind of how I do things. I don't typically like start with a design. I typically tinker a lot, and then the design would be so that you could repeat it. Basically, that's really how I would approach it. The design is actually so that way you could repeat the thing that you know is pretty good. Or you just have like a basic working document that's like obviously going to be modified constantly, because it's just like a basic structure. It's not it's not intended to be the entire design, because there's so many things that are going to change. I mean, that's another way of doing it. If you like, I would say like if you're like trying to do R&D with a gigantic team on a project, either you have a project and you know exactly how it should be designed, you got the whole thing, it's sort of been done before, you've kind of done it before, you're sort of already have all the things together, you know exactly what it's supposed to be, and you can just regurgitate all that and you just basically write it all down and say, all right, here's what you're going to build, here's what you're going to do, like a cookie cutter kind of a design. Like if you have something like that, that's fine, but if you have something that's not like cookie cutter, that's more of an R&D kind of experimental thing, then yeah, a much more fluid kind of approach is definitely the way to go. But yeah, it's pretty, those are just some thoughts on design. But the reason I bring that up is it's relevant to to-do lists, and it's relevant to like accountability and things like that. Like the things that you want to do and the things that you're going to do are going to change potentially rapidly, and sometimes you find out the things that you wanted to do are just not reasonable or achievable. And I remember spending a lot of time trying to tell people that, like, not a lot of time, but I would tell people, like, oh yeah, this is what I'm going to do, and because they told me that I should go share my goals with other people. But I thought about it more, and I was like, that's not a good idea. that's not a good idea. Especially if you really struggle with achieving those goals, and you don't most of the time even achieve them, or you fail a lot. Like, it just makes you feel stupid. It just makes you feel dumb. Makes you feel bad. Makes you feel like a failure. It also doesn't really increase accountability if it's not even possible in the first place. And it also even the notion itself that, like, you're gonna, like, blackmail yourself with your friends' opinions or some of your colleagues' opinions of you. It's just also, on the face of it, seems really bad. So yeah, I don't recommend that. Don't do that. You can mention things you're interested in. That's a little different. But, like, giving them, like, hard, smart goals, right? Hard, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound goals that you're going to share with your friends and family. I would say, unless, like, you're really confident that it's achievable, then, yeah. Like, if there's something you're definitely going to do, like, oh, hey, I'm going to go, like, drive to the grocery store and buy some stuff that I gotta buy. Like, telling your friends and family that's what you're gonna do is totally fine. I don't know what the point of that is, though. Like, to keep you accountable, it's like, why do you need to be held accountable to do that? Like, is that you're gonna have a hard time driving to get some milk? Like, I don't, that's kind of the issue here. If the issue is that it may not be as achievable as you think, and so you might think that, well, maybe I need to be held more accountable to it because it's not as achievable as I think. Like, it's just kind of self-defeating, right? It's kind of a contradiction where if you know it's highly achievable, why do you need to be held accountable? Like, why are you having a hard time with things that are highly achievable? Like, what? The only time you need to be held accountable is for something that you're struggling with, or you're struggling to achieve it. And all these other properties are intrinsic, right? Specific, measurable, relevant, and time-bound. Like, once the goal has been set with those things, it's pretty, like, I don't know who's trying to achieve goals that are relevant. And I mean, well, I shouldn't say that. There are. I shouldn't say there are people who have irrelevant goals. I've seen that before. It's like, why are you doing that? What are you doing? There's specific. They're not too specific, actually. Somewhat specific, kind of vague. Yeah, I would say I've dealt with folks who have a hard time with relevant goals. I don't have a hard time with relevant goals. I have a hard time with achievable goals. That's the issue I have. And things that I thought were relevant that are achievable are not actually relevant. Not as relevant as I thought. I was led to believe that these things are much more relevant. Yeah, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Okay. I'm not sure my point. I think my point was that, like, I don't think you need to be held accountable for these other characteristics. I think it's the only one that you have to be held accountable for is achievability. Once you've set a goal that, well, I don't know. I mean, well, okay. Other people can hold you accountable for, I don't know, I'm struggling with this here, like, accountable that you actually do it, maybe? Like, why would they need to hold you accountable? It's a question I'm asking. I'm wondering, like, why would they need to do that? It's because you can't achieve it. Because you can't do it. Or you don't want to do it, maybe. Not doesn't feel good, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Why does a person want to do something? Why does a person not want to do something? I'm not sure. Because people do uncomfortable things all the time. It's... I mean, it's maybe less motivating if it's uncomfortable. Sometimes things are painful, and you still have to do them. And you still do them anyway. Sometimes people do things that are painful that they don't have to do. I've seen that. That's not good. I'm not supposed to do that. Just thinking. You go wild with your imagination with that one. Oh no. Oh no. Don't do that. Oh no. Okay, so alright. So what, I don't know. That seems like kind of contradictory. Like if you've got a smart goal. Smart. But you still need to be held accountable for some reason. That seems like maybe there's an issue with your goal being... Probably there's... If you need to be accountable for something that's... It's manageable, it's not overwhelming, it's specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's relevant, it's time-bound, and you still are having a hard time, like you still need to be held accountable. That seems like maybe the goal itself is a problem with it. Like for me, it was not. It was more so an issue of, is the thing even achievable? That's always been the hardest thing for me with goal setting. For me, has been whether or not it's achievable, and like no amount of accountability is going to change whether or not you can actually do it. So that's kind of the issue I have with sharing goals. Like you're kind of not going to know oftentimes whether or not your goal is totally achievable until you kind of start trying it to see how it goes. Which is kind of why I thought about the like the design documents. Is like you're not really going to even know if the design is any good or even worth like thinking about until you actually try some stuff. And like at that point, you probably shouldn't even create a design document because you're gonna change so much of it. Like you can maybe make, like I said, like a really basic kind of design document that's like intended to be changed a lot, but basic outline kind of a thing. Like you could do that, but trying to like very specifically in detail get every detail of your design up front is, I think, madness. It's just lunacy. That's the impression that I got, and it was highly like I said, highly unmotivating, and I kind of thought it was just like ridiculous when I was asked to do that at university. And I didn't do very well in that course because I was like, this is not good. This isn't good. I don't want to do this. I did it anyway because I had to get my degree, because I had to get a job, because I would be homeless, so I didn't get a job. Basically, I was like, I had to do all this stuff, so I did it. But overall, I think it was kind of a waste of time. Kind of bad, kind of a waste of time. Whatever. I don't know. Yeah. So, okay. So that's where I'm at. So we can do. So SMART goals, break them down into more manageable chunks so you're not overwhelmed. Using rewards. I don't know. I'm not so sure about that one too. I think when I tend to reward myself, I tend to just lose focus. I tend to overdo it and just lose focus. Yeah. I don't know. Excuse me. I'm not so sure about this one. I don't know. I'm not sure what to say about it. I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't recommend this. I don't recommend that. Don't do that. Unless you're like really certain it's achievable, but in that case, it's like, why would you even bother? You know, it's like if you're just gonna go get the groceries or something that's like very standard, straightforward. Like, why do you need to be held accountable to go get milk? I mean, if you you really need to, I guess. To-do list to stay focused. I like that. I think that's good. I like to write things down. Just write stuff down, even if you never come back to it again, or you never actually do it. It can help you just remember the things that you want to do. Because it can be a lot. Like, you have a lot of things you want to do, and writing it down can kind of help. Yeah, intrinsic motivations, like, well, I'm as a apparent non-person, unneeded and unwanted by the broader culture. It's like, I don't, personal meaning is like kind of, I don't know, it's gonna be hard to, beyond like just like very basic, like almost hedonistic kind of instincts and desires. Not a lot of personal meaning or motivation here. Not a lot of personal meaning to help me stay motivated in my life, and I don't think there will be for quite a while. I don't know if there ever will be. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't want to get too dark with that. I mean, I kind of did already, but like, yeah, it's probably gonna be a tough one. So we'll just shelve that one for a while. Can think about being unpersoned later, I guess. So yeah, physical and mental well-being. Eat well, stay hydrated, get enough sleep. Physical health directly impacts energy levels and focus. Seek support from mentors. I don't really have mentors and counselors. I'm sorry. Well, I would say a chatbot can be sort of a it's not really a replacement for a mentor or counselor, but like if you can't get a mentor or counselor, it's definitely better than nothing. They can have better advice than mentors and counselors, and better guidance. Probably do, actually, a lot of the time. But it's not a direct one-to-one replacement. But you might not actually need you might not need mentors and counselors at that point if you actually just have you just ask a chatbot, like, hey, like, what do I do here? How do I do this? How do I stay motivated? Okay. Yeah. I more on a more personal level, I have been struggling with some of these things, but not too hard. But a little bit on the harder side, a little difficult at times. Like I can manage these things, but it can be, I don't know how to express it. Like, things are so chaotic in my life that it's like it's not always a given that these things are going to be pretty easy to maintain. Like, I have to put in significant effort to make sure these things all work out well. That I can both be physically and mentally like in good health. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But I think I can manage it. It's just like I said, it can be a little tough at times, and that's like a bit complex as to why. It's not complex. It's just like I don't really want to go into too much detail about why. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe I could read this as like, maybe tasks should be a little more self-interested for me. And if I make things a little more self-interested, then I'll be a little more motivated to do them. Which again, like I said, a lot of the stuff that I have to do, it's not really about me. It's more about just like, I'm just, got into a bunch of debt that I gotta pay off now, and have oh, it's expensive to have a home. I just don't want to be homeless. I gotta deal with that. I gotta deal with other things that are family obligations, and just, yeah, none of it's particularly too. And I can't do any of this stuff that's like really just for me until all those things are straightened out. Quite frankly, like this, everything else just takes a back seat. And it just has to be that way. In the same way that like you have to feed yourself, like you have to, certain things you just have to do. Otherwise, it's gonna be the end of the road. So yeah, not very motivating, this stuff. Not very motivating. It's true. So that's kind of rough. It's not so much that I've been unpersoned. I mean, that's maybe go a little too far. I was saying that before, but I was like, I might be a little too far. It's more so just, a lot of the stuff in front of me right now is not too meaningful to me. And it just kind of sucks. It just kind of sucks. All right. So, interesting. I'm not sure I really have any follow-up to this. Like, yeah. I don't want to get into things that are too personal for me. And this seems like decent advice, though. I guess it's pretty reasonable. But yeah, I did a lot of complaining. How long is this? Such a long video. This is like 2 hours of just complaining and thinking and so on. Yeah. So, I mean, okay, all right. So that's how you stay motivated. Create goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Okay. And then break goals into smaller steps. Divide large tasks into manageable chunks to reduce overwhelm. Completing small milestones builds confidence and maintains momentum. For example, writing a book can start with outlining chapters or writing daily pages. Use rewards and accountability. This I'm not so sure about. As I said, these things I wouldn't agree with entirely. But it is good to like reward yourself a little bit. Although I'm not really sure if that's a great idea. And then another one is a to-do list. To-do lists are good. Yeah, I like that a lot. I like writing things down. That's good. To-do lists can help you like remind yourself of like what you need to do. Excuse me. Okay. And then things that are genuinely interesting. Yeah, that's a little tougher. That's a little harder. But trying to find a way that like you could tie in your self-interests to the things that you're doing, if at all, that might help you stay motivated. And then physical and mental health, well-being. Yeah, this has been challenging for me as well. But I can kind of do this. I think I've been figuring out ways to kind of like help that along, so that way I could stay motivated and productive. So, all right, that's probably enough for now. Yeah, thank you for watching. It probably covers it. It's like 2 hours. That's a lot of time of yakking. I don't know if you watched 2 hours. I don't know if people anyway should be watching 2 hours of this, but I guess that was more so just 2 hours of like a stream of consciousness on my end, just what I was thinking, what I think. Yeah. I think, like I said, for me personally, staying motivated it's going to come down to finding goals that are relevant and achievable. And then kind of doing smaller things that are relevant and achievable that'll kind of help me kind of maintain confidence and build momentum, and just kind of slowly move my way through. And then the things that are kind of overwhelming, like I think for me, I'm just kind of struggling with things that are more immediate and overwhelming. That if I could break those things down into smaller pieces and work my way through it, then that'll serve me better. That'll be good. I got a new haircut, so check it out what it looked like. Yeah, I think that's okay. I think that's reasonable. Yeah. So there you go. That's my 2 hour. Oh my god, this feels so bad. Well, I mean, that's all right. Do with it what you will, I suppose. So yeah, I guess if you like the channel, right, you could like and subscribe and comment and share it and all those other things. All the things. Think about it a little bit more, what have you. What are all the things? I think it's like, share, subscribe, comment. What else? Is there anything else? I think that's it. I think if I had affiliate links, I would say click the affiliate links. Check out these ads. Word from our sponsors. I think that's what I'm missing. There's like this endless list of just stuff you could add. Like I think it's like, to me, I don't think I could ever be certain that I got all of the things that squeeze every last drop of interactivity out of your videos. Oh my gosh, I think it's so funny. Yeah, this has been a couple hours again. I'm not sure. I appreciate if anyone watched this much. I appreciate that. I noticed that most of the time people don't have that much time. Don't have that much patience, that much time to watch things. But I guess I could also ask, like, thinking about it more, like, what keeps you motivated? Like, how do you stay motivated? And I don't know. I don't know what motivates other people as much. Like, I guess motivation in terms of intrinsic motivation would be like, well, how are other people interested in something? Like, how could the things that they're doing serve their self-interest, right? Or serve their interest more broadly, whatever this might be. That's like how, I guess, motivating factors for other people, like impetus to do things. But that's like a whole different subject, like where your own motivations come from, like where your own impetus. That's kind of more so what this video is about. Like, how do you, on a personally, stay motivated when there's something that you want to do? Like, why would you do it? What keeps you motivated to do it? That sort of thing. Yeah, I don't know. As someone who's highly unmotivated, a struggle. Well, for me, the issues with motivation tend to come from tasks, from being overwhelmed on one hand, on the other hand, having goals that I thought would be achievable but are not actually achievable. In a lot of the cases, it's got to do with legal things. Like, it's not actually legal to achieve some of these goals when they probably should be legal. And then again, the way I judge that is like comparing different states. Some states have certain laws, and then other states the laws are a lot more relaxed, or they don't have laws at all for the thing that you're interested in doing. So yeah, there you go. There's my 2-hour video on how do you stay motivated? How do you keep motivated? Yeah. Oof. 2-hour plus video. Well, is what it is. It feels bad. It feels terrible. It does. But it's better than nothing. I don't know, man. I kind of covered that like when you're dealing with designs that your first shot is probably gonna be terrible and you need to tinker a little bit. And I probably could have made this like a much cleaner, shorter video, like get all the kind of idle thoughts out and just make it very like, this is what'll help you. But to be totally fair though, like on my end, this is not that easy for me to just like distill into like just a few bullet points. Like, oh yeah, just this is what you do, and now all your problems will be solved. You know, it's like, no, life's a little hard, life's a little complicated, a little more involved than just like a few bullet points. Yeah, and personal motivation definitely is kind of a complex thing. I think maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. All right. So yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day. And like I said, if you like this, like what I'm doing, like, share, subscribe, comment, and yeah, have a good rest of your day and stay motivated. Stay motivated. Hopefully this is helpful to keep you motivated. This may have actually just been very depressing for some folks. I hope not. Hope it wasn't too depressing. Yeah, I should go. I should just go. Okay, take care.